Imagine just for a moment that the family you were born into was not a mere accident, not a random collection of individuals you happened to be born to. What if your soul, with the wisdom of a master artist, deliberately and with great precision, chose this family before you ever entered this world? It wasn't by chance that you were placed in the very environment that now feels like a battlefield. It wasn't by mistake that you were born into a family that at times seems to chip away at your spirit instead of nurturing it. You may be asking yourself why you were put in this position, why your family feels more like a source of pain than of love. Why does it seem like the very people who should protect you instead hurt you? The answer may seem elusive and the struggle may feel endless, but I invite you to consider a new perspective, one that sees your family not as a burden, but as a gift. The truth is, being born into a toxic family is not a punishment, nor is it a reflection of some karmic debt being paid. It is in fact a profound and powerful gift, one that may take time to recognize fully, but one that holds the potential to change everything about who you are and how you see the world. It is a gift that holds the potential for growth, for healing, and for transformation. But before we can understand why being born into this family, no matter how painful it feels, is a gift, we must first explore why it happened in the first place. This video will take you deep into the heart of this mystery. Together, we will uncover the profound wisdom hidden within the pain and the struggles you face with your family. We'll explore how your soul's journey is intricately tied to the very toxicity that you've been surrounded by, and how it is in fact the perfect training ground for you to awaken as the chosen one you're meant to be. There's a certain truth that may be difficult to digest. Your soul deliberately chose the family you were born into. It wasn't a random accident or a fluke of fate. Just as an artist meticulously selects the colors for a painting, your soul handpicked the exact environment that would allow you to grow, heal, and transcend. Your family is not just a circumstance, it is part of your soul's divine design. The first question many might ask is, why would a soul, especially one destined for greatness, choose to be born into a toxic family? It's not a decision that seems to make logical sense at first glance. Wouldn't it be easier to be born into a loving, supportive, and stable environment? Why would you choose a family full of dysfunction, chaos, and emotional wounds? To understand this, we must look beyond the surface level of life and into the spiritual realm. Souls are not born into circumstances merely for comfort. They are born into circumstances that push them to awaken, to heal, and to grow. Your soul knew that in order to step into the fullness of your power, you needed to experience the very struggles that your family presents. This is the paradox of being a chosen one. You were not placed in an easy life because your soul knew that true growth happens when we are pushed to our limits, when we are forced to confront the deepest parts of ourselves. When you look at your family, what do you see? Do you see anger, neglect, manipulation, and control? Do you see patterns of dysfunction that seem almost impossible to break? Do you see yourself in them, reflecting the very things you've always wished to escape? This is where the battle begins. The challenge of being born into a toxic family is not just about surviving the emotional and psychological wounds inflicted upon you. It's about understanding why these wounds are there in the first place. Toxic families often feel like battlefields. They leave scars that run deep and may feel like they will never heal. The wounds you carry are real rejection, betrayal, neglect, and abandonment. But these wounds are not a reflection of your worth or your value. They are simply the result of being placed in a space where your soul had to face the darkness. The dysfunction in your family is not an accident. nor is it a reflection of your personal failure. It is a challenge that was chosen for you, one that you must rise above in order to step into your full potential. It may seem harsh, and it may feel unfair, but it is only through facing these challenges head-on that you are able to break free from the patterns that have plagued your lineage for generations. It is only by standing in the face of adversity and choosing to rise above it that you begin the process of healing, not just for yourself, but for those who came before you and those who will come after you. But here's the incredible gift in all of this. Being born into a toxic family is not meant to break you. It is meant to forge you. Just like steel is forged in fire, your soul is being forged in the fire of your family's dysfunction. It may hurt, it may be painful, but it is in this very fire that you are shaped into the person you are meant to be. Toxic families, as difficult as they are, strip away illusions. They force you to see life for what it truly is, not a fairy tale, but a journey full of obstacles that can only be overcome through strength, resilience, and a willingness to face the darkest parts of ourselves. Toxic families do not allow you to live in denial. They demand that you confront the raw, unfiltered truth of your existence. They push you to question your beliefs, your self-worth, and your purpose. But in doing so, they also open the door to your awakening. The pain you experience in these environments, while seemingly unbearable at times, is actually a form of purification. Just as gold is refined in the hottest flames, your spirit is being purified through the very toxicity that surrounds you. And in this process, you are not only shedding the false identities that were placed upon you by your family and society, but you are also uncovering the truth of who you are. You are awakening to the deeper, more powerful version of yourself that exists beyond the conditioning, the pain, and the wounds. This is where the power of the chosen one truly lies. It is not in avoiding the pain, but in embracing it, understanding it, and using it to fuel your transformation. You were not born into this family to simply survive. You were born to transcend. And in doing so, you will not only heal yourself, but also heal the generations that came before you and the generations that will follow. You were chosen for this path because you are strong enough to rise above the chaos and claim your power. Your soul knew that the greatest lessons would be learned in the hardest places, and that you would be the one to break the cycles of pain that have plagued your family for generations. Toxic families are often misunderstood. We often see them as sources of pain and suffering, as obstacles we must endure or escape. But when we begin to view them through a different lens, one shaped by the wisdom of the soul's journey, we can start to see them for what they truly are: a forge. Much like steel is tempered in the hottest of fires, so too is your soul forged in the fire of family dysfunction. These fires burn, they hurt, and they leave scars that are impossible to ignore. But it is within these flames that something extraordinary happens. Just as fire refines metal, the pain and trials you experience within a toxic family can refine your spirit, shaping you into something stronger, more resilient, and more powerful than you could have ever imagined. When we talk about being forged in fire, we are speaking about a process of transformation. Toxic families often push us to the edge, testing our limits in ways that make us question everything we thought we knew about ourselves. They create an environment that is harsh, unforgiving, and sometimes downright cruel. But within this environment, your soul is being prepared for something greater. The pain you feel is not a sign of your weakness. It is the heat that tempers you, the pressure that shapes you into a stronger, more refined version of yourself. When you are placed in the fire of a toxic family, you're not being destroyed, you're being transformed. The harshness of the experience strips away everything that's false about who you are. It burns away the layers of self-doubt, the fears, the insecurities, and the false beliefs that have been passed down through generations. And as the smoke clears, what remains is a stronger, more resilient soul, one that is no longer burdened by the weight of illusions. Toxic families force you to confront the truth about life in its rawest form. They take away the fantasy of what life should be like and replace it with the reality of what it truly is. Life is not always fair, not always kind, and not always easy. But it is in this rawness, this truth, that your soul finds its strength. You are no longer bound by illusions. You are free to see the world for what it is, and more importantly, free to rise above it. This is why toxic families are the perfect environment for those who are destined to break cycles. The struggle within toxic families is not meaningless. It is a training ground, a place where the chosen ones are prepared to transcend the ordinary. The battle you fight within your family is not just personal, it is a spiritual one. It is one that has been fought by many souls before you, and one that will be fought by many after you. And each time a soul rises from the ashes of family dysfunction, the world changes just a little bit. As a chosen one, you are here to break cycles, both personal and generational. You are here to rise above the chaos, to transcend the ordinary limitations that most people are bound by. And the very environment that seems to be holding you back is the one that is actually preparing you to break free. It's a paradox, one that is difficult to fully understand while in the midst of it, but one that becomes clear when you look back and see how far you have come. The toxicity you have endured has not broken you. It has shaped you, refined you, and made you strong enough to break the cycle. It is important to understand that the toxicity you experience within your family is not something that originated with you. It is not your fault, nor is it something you caused. The truth is, you are carrying the weight of ancestral wounds, patterns, and dysfunctions that have been passed down through generations. The toxic behavior you see in your family is not an isolated incident. It is the result of generations of unhealed wounds, unresolved trauma, and unconscious patterns that have been perpetuated for as long as anyone can remember. Generational toxicity is like an invisible thread that weaves through the fabric of your family, passing from one generation to the next. It is the unresolved pain of your ancestors that has been handed down to you, and it is this pain that has shaped the dynamics of your family. It is not just your family's dysfunction, it is the accumulation of unhealed wounds and unspoken truths that have been buried for generations. But here is the gift of being a chosen one. You are here to break this cycle. You were born into this family with all of its pain and dysfunction, not to suffer in silence, but to transform it. Your soul chose this path because you were strong enough to face the darkness that has haunted your family for generations. You were not born to repeat the mistakes of your ancestors. You were born to heal them. It is important to understand that breaking the cycle does not mean rejecting your family or turning away from your lineage. It means acknowledging the pain that has been passed down, understanding it, and choosing to heal it. You are not responsible for the wounds your family carries, but you are responsible for how you respond to them. You have the power to break the cycle of dysfunction, to heal the wounds of the past, and to create a new path for yourself and for future generations. Healing the lineage is a profound responsibility, one that requires immense strength, courage, and dedication. But it is also a beautiful gift, because when you heal yourself, you heal the generations that came before you and the generations that will come after you. Your healing is not just about you, it is about your entire lineage. When you rise above the toxicity of your family, you show your ancestors that healing is possible, and you create a path for future generations to walk without the burden of the same wounds. The role of a chosen one is to heal, to break free from the patterns that have held their family in bondage for so long. This healing is not easy. It is a journey that requires deep introspection, self-awareness, and a willingness to face the darkness. But it is through this healing that you will not only transform your own life, but also transform the lives of those around you. You are the bridge between the past and the future, the one who has the power to heal the wounds that have been carried for generations. As you embark on this journey, remember that you are not alone. There are countless chosen ones who have walked this path before you, and many more who will follow in your footsteps. Together, you are rewriting the story of your lineage, breaking the cycles of pain and dysfunction that have held your family captive for generations. And in doing so, you are creating a new world, one where healing, love, and transformation are possible for all. So as you look at your family, as you confront the pain and dysfunction that have been passed down through the generations, remember this: you are not just healing yourself. You are healing your entire lineage. You are breaking the chains of the past and creating a new path forward. And in doing so, you are fulfilling your purpose as a chosen one. The family, with all its dysfunction and toxicity, often feels like a battleground, a place where we are wounded, misunderstood, and left to fend for ourselves. It's easy to see them as the enemy, to believe that they are the cause of all our pain, and to place blame where we feel it's deserved. But what if instead of seeing your family as your adversary, you could begin to see them as teachers? What if within the chaos there was a profound lesson waiting for you to uncover? In toxic family dynamics, there is a powerful mirror effect that takes place. Toxic families often reflect back to us the parts of ourselves that we may not want to face. These reflections are not always flattering, but they are necessary. They reveal the areas within us that need healing, the parts of ourselves that we are reluctant to acknowledge. The anger, the pain, the fear, the sadness that we experience within these toxic relationships is often a mirror of what exists within us, unhealed and unresolved. It's painful to realize that the very things we hate most about our family are often the things we too are struggling with internally. The anger you see in your parents, the manipulation, the control, how much of that exists within you. These are not questions to make you feel guilty. They are questions to awaken you to a deeper truth. The truth that the toxicity you are battling is not just external, it is also internal. The wounds that your family inflicted upon you may be reflecting wounds that you have yet to heal within yourself. It's important to understand that this mirror effect is not meant to condemn you. It is meant to awaken you to the reality that your family is holding up a mirror to the very parts of yourself that need healing. When you face these parts, when you look into the mirror and see the reflection of your own pain and dysfunction, you are presented with an incredible gift, the gift of awareness. And in this awareness lies your power. When we begin to see our family not as enemies, but as teachers, we start to shift the narrative. Instead of seeing them as the source of our pain, we begin to see them as the catalysts for our healing. The pain they cause is not an attack. It is a mirror revealing what we need to heal. Each time you face the anger in your father or the neglect in your mother, you are being shown where you need to do the work. Each painful interaction becomes an opportunity to grow, to understand, and to transcend. Seeing your family members through the lens of their own pain and struggles is the first step in transforming your relationship with them. This is not about excusing their behavior or allowing them to continue hurting you. It is about recognizing that their dysfunction is a reflection of their own unhealed wounds not your worth. It is about shifting the focus from blame to understanding, from resentment to compassion. This shift in perspective may not be easy. It may take time, and it may require deep emotional work to unearth the truth of why you have been hurt. But as you begin to see your family as wounded souls, rather than as perpetrators of your pain, you start to release the grip of anger and resentment. You start to free yourself from the belief that they are the cause of your suffering, and instead, you begin to recognize that they are simply teaching you the lessons you need to learn. Once you've begun to see your family not as enemies, but as teachers, the next step is to embark on the path of healing and transformation. It is a path that requires deep inner work and a willingness to change, not just for yourself, but for your entire lineage. Healing does not happen by wishing it away or hoping for someone else to change. Healing begins when you make the decision to heal yourself, to take responsibility for your own growth and transformation. Choosing to heal is the first and most important step in breaking free from the patterns that have kept you stuck within the toxic family dynamic. It requires a deep commitment to yourself, an unwavering belief that you are worthy of healing, peace, and joy. Healing begins when you stop waiting for your family to change, for them to apologize, or for them to become the loving, supportive individuals you wish they were. Healing begins when you realize that you are the one who has the power to heal, regardless of what others may do. In the process of healing, one of the most important tools you will need is self-love. Self-love is not just about feeling good about yourself. It is about honoring yourself, accepting yourself, and choosing yourself, even when others may not. It is about setting boundaries, protecting your peace, and refusing to accept anything less than respect and love from others. Self-love is the foundation upon which all healing is built. Without it, you cannot heal, because you will continue to accept the patterns of toxicity from your family as if they are normal. Self-love is about recognizing that you are worthy of love, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. It is about accepting yourself unconditionally, flaws and all. It is about acknowledging your pain, your wounds, and your imperfections, but refusing to let them define you. Self-love is the act of embracing your true self, free from the conditioning of your family, free from the expectations they have placed upon you, and free from the labels they have given you. Alongside self-love, self-compassion plays a critical role in the healing process. Compassion is about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a dear friend. It's about being gentle with yourself, especially during moments of struggle or pain. When you have grown up in a toxic family environment, it's easy to internalize the message that you are not enough, that you are unworthy of love, or that you are destined to carry the burden of your family's dysfunction. Self-compassion allows you to release these negative beliefs and replace them with the truth you are worthy, you are enough, and you deserve peace. But healing is not just about self-love and compassion. It is also about self-discipline. Healing is not easy. It requires consistent effort, determination, and the willingness to face difficult truths. Self-discipline means showing up for yourself every day, even when the journey feels hard. It means making choices that align with your highest good, even when the old patterns of your family try to pull you back into familiar toxic behavior. Self-discipline is about sticking to your commitment to heal, no matter how challenging it may be. As you embark on this healing journey, there are practical steps you can take to begin breaking free from the emotional and mental patterns that have been passed down through your family. The first step is awareness, becoming conscious of the patterns that have been ingrained in you. These patterns may include things like people-pleasing perfectionism or fear of rejection. They may involve habits of self-sabotage or difficulty setting boundaries. The key is to become aware of these patterns and recognize where they are holding you back. The second step is to challenge these patterns. This requires courage and the willingness to do things differently. If you've always been taught to suppress your emotions, for example, it will take effort to begin expressing them. If you've been conditioned to put others' needs before your own, it will take time to learn how to prioritize yourself. But it is in this process of challenging the old patterns that you begin to create new ones. You begin to rewrite the story of your life, one where you are no longer bound by the limitations of your family's dysfunction. The third step is to establish boundaries. Boundaries are a form of self-respect. They are the lines you draw in the sand to protect yourself from the toxic behaviors of others. Setting boundaries may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you've grown up in an environment where boundaries were either non-existent or constantly violated. But establishing boundaries is one of the most important steps in healing. It allows you to protect your energy, your peace, and your emotional well-being. It also teaches others how to treat you with respect. Finally, the most powerful step in healing is forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about condoning the harmful behavior of others. It is about releasing the grip that anger, resentment, and hurt have on your life. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the burden of carrying the pain of your family's dysfunction. It is the final step in breaking the cycle of toxicity and stepping into the fullness of who you are meant to be. As you move through the healing process, remember that it is not a linear journey. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when it feels like you're not making progress. But healing takes time, and every step you take brings you closer to freedom. The key is to keep going, even when it's difficult. With each step, you will transform not just for yourself, but for your entire lineage. The path to healing and transformation is not easy, but it is worth it. As you heal yourself, you create a ripple effect that transforms your family dynamics, your relationships, and your life. You break free from the past, and in doing so, you unlock your true potential. The power to heal, to rise, and to transcend the limitations of your family lies within you. You have everything you need to heal, to transform, and to create the life you deserve. And as you step into your power, remember that you are not just healing for yourself. You are healing for all those who came before you and all those who will come after you. Your healing is a gift to the generations that follow, a gift that will transform not just your life, but the world around you. The journey to healing begins within, but its impact extends far beyond the individual. When you commit to healing yourself, to confronting the deep wounds that have shaped your life, you are not just changing your own trajectory, you are altering the very dynamics of your family. The act of healing yourself creates a ripple effect that touches every person you encounter, especially those within your family, who may not even be aware of the transformation taking place within you. Healing yourself first is a profound act of empowerment. It's an acknowledgement that the past does not define you, and the wounds you've carried are not permanent. As you work to heal yourself, you not only release the emotional and mental burdens that have been passed down to you, but you also free your family from the expectations and limitations that they have projected onto you. Each step you take towards healing becomes a step that dismantles the toxic patterns within your family, even if those around you aren't conscious of it. As you break free from old behaviors, habits, and emotional ties, you start to create a new space within your family, a space of peace, of healing, and of growth. It's important to remember, however, that healing yourself does not mean fixing others. The healing of your family's toxic dynamics does not depend on their acknowledgement of your transformation. They may not recognize it immediately. In fact, they may resist it at first. But the transformation within you will begin to create subtle shifts in how your family interacts with you, and over time, those shifts will begin to spread. The beauty of this ripple effect is that it doesn't require anyone else's permission. You don't need their approval or their acknowledgement to heal. As you transform your own wounds into strength, as you embrace self-love and self-compassion, you become a living example of what healing looks like. The way you show up for yourself, the way you establish boundaries, the way you respond with love instead of anger, all of this influences the people around you. In the process, your healing becomes a quiet invitation for others to heal as well. It may not happen immediately, and it may not happen in the way you expect, but your own transformation will plant the seeds of change in others. Your family members may not understand it at first, but they will begin to feel the shift. They will feel your peace, your strength, and your resilience, and over time, they will be inspired to heal as well. Healing yourself is not only a gift to your own soul, it is a gift to your entire family. By transforming your own pain, you break free from the generational cycle of dysfunction, and you create a new pathway for your family to walk, one that is based on love, understanding, and healing. Your healing becomes the foundation upon which future generations can build a healthier, more peaceful life. The impact of your personal healing is not confined to your own life. As you heal, you become a beacon of light for those around you, especially for your family. When you choose to heal, to confront your pain, and to rise above the toxicity that has shaped your family's narrative, you set an example. You show your family that healing is possible. You show them that it is possible to break free from the cycles of pain and dysfunction that have bound them for generations. Even if your family does not acknowledge the change in you, they will begin to feel it. Healing has a ripple effect. The more you heal, the more your family will feel the peace you radiate. You will no longer be a participant in the drama or chaos that once defined your family dynamics. Instead, you will become a stabilizing force, a source of calm in the midst of the storm. Your transformation will challenge the status quo, and in doing so, it will inspire those around you to begin their own healing journeys. It's important to remember that healing is not about changing others. It's about changing yourself. The real power lies in your own ability to heal and rise above the toxicity that has shaped your life. As you heal, you begin to shift the energy in your family. Even if others are resistant to change, the healing you've done within yourself becomes an invitation for them to do the same. The truth is, healing doesn't always look the way we think it should. It doesn't always involve others acknowledging your growth or offering validation. Sometimes healing is a silent process, but even in its silence, it has the power to transform everything around you. The ripple effect of your healing doesn't stop with your family. As you heal, you begin to influence the world around you in profound ways. The transformation that starts in your family can expand into your community, your workplace, and beyond. When you break free from toxic patterns, you create space for others to do the same. Your healing becomes a catalyst for wider change. Healing yourself not only transforms your family dynamics, but it also impacts society at large. When you heal from the wounds of your past, you step into a place of authenticity and empowerment. You begin to live in alignment with your true self, free from the limitations of the past. This new way of living ripples out, touching everyone you encounter. Think about the people in your life who have witnessed your journey friends, colleagues, acquaintances. As you heal, you become a living example of what is possible. Your strength, your compassion, and your ability to rise above adversity become an inspiration to those around you. When you choose peace over conflict, love over fear, and forgiveness over resentment, you teach others that they too have the power to heal. This transformation goes beyond your personal life. When you heal, you create a shift in the collective energy. You contribute to the healing of society as a whole. The more individuals heal, the more the collective consciousness is elevated. It's a ripple effect that has the potential to change the world. Healing is a revolutionary act, not just for yourself, but for all of humanity. As you heal, you awaken to the truth of who you are and your purpose in the world. You realize that your healing is not just about you, it's about the greater good. By healing yourself, you contribute to the collective healing of the world. The path of a chosen one is not an easy one. It is a path filled with challenges, struggles, and moments of deep pain. But it is also a path of purpose, strength, and transformation. To walk the path of a chosen one is to embrace your divine calling, to step into your power, and to rise above the limitations of your past. Acceptance of the path is the first step in embracing your role as a chosen one. It's about acknowledging that your journey is unique, that you were chosen for this path because you have the strength and wisdom to walk it. The challenges you face are not a sign of weakness. They are the very thing that will shape you into the person you are meant to be. The path of a chosen one requires courage. It requires the courage to face the darkness, to confront your fears, and to rise above the pain. But it also requires strength. Strength to keep moving forward even when the path is uncertain. Strength to stay grounded in your truth even when the world around you tries to pull you off course. And it requires transformation. The chosen one is not someone who stays the same. They evolve, they grow, and they transcend the limitations of their past. One of the greatest challenges of being a chosen one is living as a beacon of light in the midst of darkness. It is easy to be consumed by the negativity, the dysfunction, and the pain that surrounds you. But the chosen one is called to rise above it. You are called to be the light in the darkness, the peace in the chaos, the love in the face of fear. Living as a beacon of light requires making conscious choices even when it feels impossible. It requires choosing love over hate, peace over conflict, and forgiveness over resentment. It requires seeing the world through the eyes of compassion, understanding that everyone is doing the best they can with the tools they have. When you live as a beacon of light, you inspire others to do the same. Your actions become a reflection of the healing and transformation that is possible for all. You teach others that they too have the power to rise above the darkness and embrace their true selves. The most powerful shift a chosen one can make is from victimhood to empowerment. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that the pain and suffering we experience define us. It's easy to see ourselves as victims of our circumstances, of our families, and of the world. But the truth is, you are not a victim. You are a creator. You have the power to choose your path, to heal your wounds, and to transcend the pain. The purpose of the chosen one is not to remain a victim of their family's dysfunction. It is to rise above it, to heal from it, and to create a new reality. The pain you have experienced does not have to define you. It can be the catalyst for your growth and transformation.